Okay, so for my final project, I proposed a final image that would look like someone was sitting in the clouds, and I wanted to make it look like it was from the point of view of someone on an airplane looking out the window. And I also talked about putting in some like city lights in the background, like below and everything. So that was my initial idea. And what I did to get my part of the images, like my own photography, was I did a shoot with my friend, and I had her kind of laying down because I wanted it to look like my person was just kind of laying and relaxing among the clouds. So I took a few shots to use for that, and I ended up getting the one you see in my final image of her just kind of laying down. And then for everything else, I used their like copyright free, free to do whatever you want with websites with images. Like I think I used Pexels for. Originally, it was just an image of a cityscape from kind of an aerial view. So I got that one, and then I got an image of a plane wing. And what else? Oh, I also got a third separate image that was just kind of the view looking out of a plane. So you could kind of see the window, like on the four corners, which I kind of chopped up little bits of it and placed it on my picture. So I got all of those images from either Pexels or Pixabay.com. So those are copyright free. You can do whatever you want with those. And then I also had some overlays for Photoshop that I just had purchased before, like the clouds one. And then I also have like a sun beaming kind of one. So I had those before, and then I just kind of layered everything together, and I think I ended up with like 40 plus layers, something like that. It was a lot. Yeah, like 43 layers. Um, so it took a really long time, but that's because, so after I made my image, I kind of decided that I wanted to do something else. So that's when I added in the little paper airplane. So I actually bought those overlays. They're like $4 from Etsy to get little Photoshop overlays. So I got the little paper airplanes. And then I kind of just decided that I wanted to do something even more with the image. So I ended up doing the GIF animation, and I wanted to make it look like there were paper airplanes flying through the sky, which took forever to do, especially with the little cloud part that was trailing behind it. That part was probably the most annoying part of my project and took the longest to do, especially where it did the little loop. And I think I was just not organized enough with my layers, so I made it even more difficult for myself because I couldn't tell what layer was what when I put it in the animation timeline. Things started getting really confusing, and I was getting like extra little cloud trails popping up in like random places on different frames where they weren't supposed to show, and things like that just kept happening. So I had to go through every single frame so many times to make sure that there wasn't like an extra little cloud trail just hanging out somewhere random that didn't look right. And there might have been one that accidentally I missed and it stayed there and ended up in my final project. Could be. I don't know, but if there is, that's why. It took a really long time and it just kept getting messed up. I don't really know what happened. Why that was so difficult. I think it just my organization. I didn't label all the layers as well as I could have, so that's something that I would do differently in the future. Um, but overall I really like how it came out. I think it looks really cool and it is actually pretty much exactly what I had in mind when I um, put in my proposal idea. So that part I nailed, I think, and then I also really like what I added to make it more interesting, turning it into a GIF. And yeah, I really like it. And I like that I used different images to make one. Like at first, I was trying to just get an image that was perfectly taken, like one of my pictures from an airplane looking out the window, and already has like the cityscape and everything in it, and just going from there and putting my picture of the model in it. But that didn't really work, so I ended up going with, different images for the window, a different one for the wing, a different one for the city background, and kind of just making it from scratch. And I think that worked better. So I really like how it came out. And it was really difficult, took a long time, but I like it. So